Hello and welcome back to another Gunpla build. Today we're going to be doing the RX-78 G from Requiem for Vengeance. But first, I wanted to show off a couple of new things that I got. I finally got one of these single-bladed nippers. I kind of like this thing. This will be my first time using it. My plan was to use my original one to cut them off of the runner, and then the single bladed to cut them down even further. I also finally got a part separator, which I definitely need, and I think it's actually a really good thing just to have in general. No matter what, you're going to make mistakes. And here's a set of tweezers that I desperately needed. After the last build, there were some really tiny stickers there, so I figured I really have to get some of these really skinny nose tweezer things, however you call it. So here's the model kit here. And this, like I said, this is the RX-78G. This is the Gundam from Gundam Requiem for Vengeance, right? That was the Netflix show, which I haven't had a chance to watch yet. So giving you a little flash of the sides here. Also, I apologize if this is kind of weird or if the audio sounds weird. This is my first time doing this. I decided, in addition to music for some of the other segments, I'm going to be doing some narration, and I'll do this kind of live. The other narration in the videos before was me sort of, I had a mic set up while I was doing the build, and then I would talk. But this is all post-recording, like I have the video all done. So I'm kind of doing this here. So I apologize if it sounds weird, if it's a little odd. And if it's a little jarring, this is, I believe, my third Gunpla video, so I'm still trying to find my footing with how I want to be doing this, and I kind of wonder if this is just going to be the way I do it all the time, which is just to say, how do I feel about doing each one? I'm always nervous about committing to an actual thing, but here are the instructions for the build. Probably this is definitely one of my favorite aspects of Gunpla. Like it's very interesting just to have full directions and everything. By the way, if you see me pointing that out right there, that kind of comes into play later. That was an important thing right there that I actually kind of forgot, and it comes up at the end of the build. Nothing really catastrophic, but it was just kind of interesting. I also like looking through all of this. I like get a feel for, how much you're going to be doing and whether it looks kind of normal or whether it looks really low or whether there's 90 pages worth of stuff to do. It's a good indication of what's going to be coming here soon. I'm actually really excited to build this. I thought that this was kind of cool. And this was definitely one of those situations where I have other kits that I've had longer, but I bought this one, and this was the first build that this is the first build that I built while owning it. So let's jump in, and I forget to show off what parts I'm going to be making. So I think the first part here was the torso, and I'll pop in every once in a while. But for now, enjoy. And there's the torso. This is it's always fun to complete the first section because you definitely know that you're on your way. And I like that it's the torso. I get a little annoyed sometimes building the heads. So I like that the torso is the first part because I feel I can work with it a lot easier and kind of gives you the confidence to move forward in the build, if that makes any sense. So next up is the head, and these are always really tiny parts. And this is me just putting the head together. I'm going to leave the music playing while I talk through this segment. I'll try not to talk and have music on at the same time. I don't know how annoying that can be or how tough it'll be to hear me. This right here was me trying to put it on the end of my chopstick just so that I can hold it a little bit closer and a little more steady. I don't know how much of a good look you got at it and how much I was going to be able to give you a good look anyway. And that's the second arm. So now we're going to put everything together and we'll have the top half there. Again, sort of like when I said about completing the torso. Every time you complete a section, you always feel really good. And this is the point where you put the top half together. And this always feels really cool. I always get a big kick out of this. I also remember while I was building this that this is where when I first put these together and I saw them, like everything working, I remember thinking I'm having a lot of fun with this build. I think the last build I did was the Strike Freedom Gundam, and that wasn't terrible until at a certain point I actually did genuinely just kind of get annoyed with it. It wasn't a terrible build. It's got a lot of nubs and markings on it. So one day when I'm a lot better at all of this, I'll definitely do it again. But for right now, let's get started with the legs. And with that, we have both legs done. Very cool. Very streamlined. Well, not streamlined, but very easy build as far as just everything is clear. As normal with Gunpla, everything is very clearly laid out. But this one, I don't know, for some reason, it just felt like it was going really, really well. And I very much appreciate that. I let the music play through here, so I apologize if it's a little too loud. This was just a really long segment. This is where I finished the waist, and now I get to put everything together. Let me show it off here a little bit so you can see all of the different sides of it. It's a really, really cool build. I don't know what it is about this build that I really enjoyed, but there goes me mooning you there with the with the waist. I don't know what it was about this build that I really enjoyed. When I first actually saw the Gundam itself, like I said, I haven't seen the movie. I believe it's a movie. And when I first saw the Gunpla build, though, I thought, wow, this just looks really cool. I don't know what it is about it that it looks like such a clean build. It's it's the OG granddaddy, but the modern version of it, and it's done in a way that I really appreciate. All of the other RX-78s are very identifiable to each other, and this one is too. But I don't know, something about the sort of rounded edges and definitely the color scheme. I like a nice muted set of colors, and then you accent it with other things. So I actually just, for some reason, I just thought that this was incredible to look at, and I knew that I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do it justice the way some of the more professional people do it, or the people that are more knowledgeable about all of this, but I knew that this was something I had to build. I'm kind of hoping at some point that there's a larger version of it, and I will most likely build that too. And here he is laid out, just so you can take a look at him. The scene should shift a little bit. This is where I finished for the day. I ended up having to do some stuff, so I stopped doing it there, giving you the thumbs up to let you know that it's a brand new day. And now the Gundam itself was actually done. That was the end of the Gundam. So now comes all of the weapons and attachments and everything. And some of these were a little challenging. Small parts as usual. It also had one of my favorite parts in here, which we get to use. I think I showed it a little bit earlier. There's a minigun that attaches to the back shoulder, and there's the bullets that come out of it. It's the strand of bullets, and the bullets it's like a rubber. It's not even hard plastic. It's like floppy rubber. So I thought that was really cool. Like I said, like I often say, I'm new to this stuff, so there's going to be a ton of things that I haven't seen, and one of them was that. I thought that was kind of awesome. So yeah, here's the rest of. I think when I'm done here, you get to see the minigun. Yeah, that's me putting it together now. There was one segment that was kind of a problem where it's the minigun, and then it's the bullets coming out of it, and then it's the holder where the bullets come out of. That holder, it's possible to put the last two parts, like the housing for it, it's possible to put that on backwards, which is what I did. So when I tried to attach it to the Gundam, it just sort of sat in its place. And it wasn't until later, I don't remember exactly when, but I have to take it apart. It's really quick really quick to take it apart. It was the last two pieces that get attached to it, so they're the first two to come off. So you just swap them around. It was very cool though, and I felt very good when it finally worked the way it was supposed to. Oh, so there was another problem here. This is the only thing I might consider a problem. That's me taking it apart. Yeah, so that's where I took it apart, put everything back the way it's supposed to. The only other part was that there's another back attachment. You can see it on right behind the left arm, and that's supposed to hold the 3 beam sabers. That doesn't actually stick to the back super well. The tab that holds it in is a little short, so when it goes in, it comes off pretty easily. Also, one of the beam sabers would constantly fall off. I guess the peg wasn't wide enough for it, so whichever handle I put there, it would fall. Now, okay, I stopped it here so you can see. So going back to the earlier part of the video, that right there is where all of the stickers go. They're not decals, they're stickers. and I didn't know where the layout was for them to go. So I had to search around a little bit, and then I found where they go. These are the cool kind of stickers. This is my first time seeing them. They're kind of clear matte, and then they have the paint on them so that you can see all of the, it's like really thin edging. Instead of really small stickers, it's one big sticker that basically form fits to the piece. You'll be able to see it a little bit later. So if the piece itself, like the shoulders for instance, are an odd shape, the sticker might actually trace the entire shape of that. And the knees and on the legs, they do it too, where the whole sticker is the shape of that. So it doesn't show as much in a bad way. And I believe this is it. This is the whole build here. So like I said, this was actually a really awesome build. I actually really enjoyed this. It looks really cool. It's, you know, it's not as flashy as some of the other ones, but I kind of like that. I think that in this situation, it makes a lot of sense that it looks the way it does. Very flexible, a little too flexible there, but he does pose really well. He's got, I believe he has the double knee bend, which is like as a new person, that's still something that I don't see very much, but from what I understand, that's not common on high grades anyway. He's got a good weapon set. The gun, it looks really good. There's good color separation on the gun. It similar to the beam saber holder on his back. There's a tab that you can use to attach it to the Gundam so that you could store it, and that tab isn't very long, so it doesn't go in very well. Anytime you touch the gun while it's attached to it in that way, it really just came right off. Not a deal breaker in any stretch of the imagination. I use action bases that have, or not the actual action base. I use the ones from Display, I believe, and they have a little bit of storage in the base. So I always just keep all the extra weapons and stuff there, unless I want it to look cool on the robot itself. Is it robot or is it mech? I guess it's mech. Yeah, I know that the show is, I believe it's called Real Robot, but it, you know, we've been using the terminology of mech for such a long time, so it's kind of hard for me to shake that. Here I'm giving you one last little pose there, you know, flexing out a little bit. Like I said, this was a fantastic build. I really enjoy this. I would highly recommend this build. I don't know if that's something you're here looking for, but thank you so much for hanging out and watching, and here's a few closer up shots. Please enjoy.